YouTubes! Welcome back, Haunt Fan. Today we are gonna get gory.
Hey! Put those back!
I'll put them back when I'm done. I'm making scalps. Okay, YouTube, so today we're gonna make some human scalps. I went to the yard and pilfered some landscaping stones, and we're not even gonna clean them. We're just gonna ride dirty through this whole process. We've got some Monster Maker's latex. It has to be either casting latex or mask making latex. This specific brand doesn't matter as long as it's those type of latexes. This is Monster Maker's. I'll go find a link for it below. They sell this stuff in quarts. You don't need a whole basket like this. So let's get started. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be a blast. Okay, YouTubes. So I went ahead and dumped some of our latex out of our basket. Put it right into a smaller cup that we can work out of with the lid so it doesn't skin over. We got some ammonia I picked up from the dollar days, put a little bit to clean our brush, so hopefully we can get through all this with one brush, if not maybe two or so, just to try and save materials. And again, we're using landscaping stones right out of the garden. We're using this because they have a rough surface and they will absorb the latex, let the latex wick through, and we can make our scalps, and that will just brush several layers on. You can use a plastic lid or something like that, but I want it to be a little bit rough. So we're going to use our latex right out of the bucket, and we're just going to dip in. And we're going to make basically just an oval, and there's really no wrong way. We're going to blob it on kind of thick. And overall, we're hoping to get about maybe 4 nice wet heavy coats on there. So we'll call that a scalp. We'll call that a scalp. And you kind of want to orient them to where you think like the front part of the head. So maybe like this is our forehead. So again, ain't got to be perfect. We're just going to brush a nice blob of latex on there. You can go as wide as you want if you want big scalps, smaller scalps, whatever. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to brush out some scalps on the rest of these guys. And we're going to give this probably 20, maybe 30 minutes to dry. If you want, you can heat gun it like me. I hate waiting. So I'm going to go ahead and brush our first coat on. We'll come back when it's dry and we'll do coat number 2. Okay, YouTubes, I think we're about ready for our second coat. I sure as hell did heat gun it because y'all know, God, I freaking hate waiting. So the ammonia worked out real good. The brush is pretty clean. We're ready to go round 2. And if you guys are doing this in the summertime, you can take this stuff outside like on a deck or a patio and do it outside in the sun where your latex probably dries 15-20 minutes in between coats. Just don't do it over carpet because it'll stick to your carpet like black on a ninja. It'll never come out. So we're going to do our second coat. Again, we're going to go heavy again. We're just going to blob it on there. Go a little bit further out than we were before. And just paint us a little oval. Okay, YouTube, so I went ahead and clipped a little fan overhead to help cure the latex. I think we're ready to go put on coat number 3. The fan will help kind of skin it and cure it, so on a hot wet day like today, things will go faster, that's all, since we're inside. So we're going to go coat number 3 again. Ain't got to be perfect. Nice and heavy. We're not worried about drips. We'll try and use those as warts later. Ooh, big chunk right there. Alright. I'm going to brush all these guys out, and we'll go back for coat number 4. Okay, YouTubes, so this is going to be our second to last coat. This is coat number 4. We're just going to brush on, and our next coat, we're going to go to hair. Okay, YouTubes, let's talk about hair. So I keep me a big bin of old masks and weave hair and all kinds of stuff that I pull off other costumes and masks and stuff. So like my Dollar Tree masks last year, look at all the hair. And wigs are getting expensive, so I like to use old masks if I need hair for them. So we'll cut up old mask hair. I got old weave hair from the beauty supply store. Old wigs, you got pink, you got freaking clown wigs, you got old people wigs. Anything will do. White hair. All we need is any kind of hair, synthetic, it don't matter. And we're going to brush it right into our latex when we get to about our 4th or 5th coat, and that would be the hair for our scalps. Okay, YouTube, so our 4th coat is on and dried. We just want to go ahead and put our last coat on, coat number 5. Work our way backwards. Make sure our coat is nice and wet. Alright, I've already got some of our wigs cut up and hair kind of laid out. We'll just go ahead and we'll lay in our hair. You could use the style any way you like, long, short, doesn't matter, any color hair you like. We're just going to go ahead and poke it down in that wet latex. Alright. Let it grab, damn fly. We'll just dab a little latex on and press it down. We'll just go in layers like we're shingling a roof. We'll just kind of fan it out. lay it in that wet latex, and we'll just touch the edges down. Take a little more. And it doesn't matter if we don't get everything covered, it's alright. As long as we get it stuck down in that latex. We're just working our way up to the forehead, to our hairline. So I think just a little bit more will do us. Again, you can put as much hair on or as little as you want. You can do a little widow's peak if you want. Do a little more hair in the front center. Do a little widow's peak. Thank you, 4th of July was yesterday. Alright, then we'll go ahead and just touch it down. And that's our hair. We're going to let that completely dry, and this guy is good to go. Put him aside. I've got some blonde hair, as you can see, cut. We'll do the same thing. We'll just kind of stack it like a ladder. We'll brush our whole scalp again. Alright, we'll take a stack of little blonde hairs. And we'll just kind of fan them out. Lay them in that latex. Make sure they don't come out. Alright, we'll get another layer of hair. And we figure we'll go up to about here, so maybe halfway. And that'll be our little forehead for our scalp. And again, like I said, you could do short hair, long hair, any color, the style's up to you, doesn't matter. Just whatever wigs and hair pieces you got laying around. Alright, we'll kind of fan that out. A little bit. Big chunker right there. And if you want, you can kind of drag your brush across the forehead to make it look like wrinkles. And do our last little bit of hair. Fan it out. Yeah, this curly. Okay, we'll just dab it in there. Alright. A little wavy. We'll just touch it down in the front. Alright, plenty of loose strings off. And that will be our forehead. That will be our scalp, and we'll wait for these to dry. I want to do one more, and I want to see if I can't tint this one. Maybe like a nasty, stank-ass, old, toothless, hag, swamp witch scalp. Okay, YouTubes, so I took a little bit of latex, stuck it in this cup. I put some Stilt Beast Troll Green in there, and just a little tiny drop of Pinata Emerald or Rainforest Green. Again, these are latex. You got to use flexible paints. You cannot put acrylic paints on there because they will crack. So I went ahead and mixed up this little beautiful color. It's kind of a puke, nasty lime green. I'm going to go ahead and use this as our tinted latex and just brush it on. Ooh, that looks pretty good. And this will be our witch scalp. Might as well go thick. So you can actually tint your colors with latex paint to make like maybe an orc or a witch or, you know, alien, whatever you want to do. So we're just kind of blob it on there. And I had hoped that some of my other drops, these guys would dry and we could pick these up and set them in our last coat like warts. But we'll think of something else. I may have to come back and do this trick and mix up a different color green and then dab it on with thicker latex. So we've got our green scalp kind of prepared. I've got some gray hair, like some nasty old disgusting swamp witch gray hair. We're going to do it the same way. We're just going to fan out, drop it down, let it sit. Then we'll just touch it into place. So we're going to move on to paint. You can skip this step if you want. As you notice, most of your human pigment skin has little red dots, brown dots, whatever. So I like to go back and make a little bit more realistic. So we'll take some of this green right here, and for our witch, these are just little acid brushes from Amazon. We'll just kind of stand back, and you can, again, you can dab some on, you can move it around, doesn't matter. I did mix up a little bit of liquid latex, and I put a little bit of the Stilt Beast Sasquatch Brown in here. Now you guys got to use latex paint for this. If you use anything else, it will crack and come off. So I did go ahead and mix up just a little bit of latex and some brown paint to kind of tint it so it's nice and like thick. And you can use this to go ahead and add warts wherever you want. Just kind of dab them on. And you can do it on regular skin, or you go back and add a second coat if you want. Big forehead wart. And then we'll just keep on taking our colors as you want. We'll dip in. Get a little brown, almost out of brown. And again, we're just taking it and kind of just standing back and we're flicking it. Kind of make some little speckles on our skin. You can do brown for the witch if you want. Again, you could do gray. Colors are up to you guys. Like I said, this is an optional stuff that I like to do. Makes it look a little more realistic. Just to break up the skin texture a little bit and skin color. And the clown, I'll probably go back and just paint some white on here. The osteo white on our clown section since all our hair is dried up. But again, it's just little stuff like this takes it one step further that you really don't have to do. I just think it makes it more believable. Let me take a little bit of the tan flesh color because it's a lot lighter than our cured latex. Yeah, just to kind of break the skin tone up a little bit. We don't care. Okay, YouTube, so our paint's dry. Our works look pretty good. Let's go ahead and peel this guy off. We'll just grab our little edges right here. We'll just peel it off. Alright, and that is going to be our scalp. So we got our hair dangling. See, we're kind of squared off. Any of these little pieces we can trim off, or what I like to do is I'll just go ahead and pull off the edges. Use a pair of pliers if you need to. Just so that it's ragged. Don't want to see any square lines. Alright, so we basically just trim off. It's okay if the skin kind of sticks to each other. Because like I said, remember, fresh latex sticks to latex like black on a ninja. Alright, so we just want to get our little drips off. You can leave them if you want, don't matter. But just so you don't have like a square shape so it spots easy from a distance so it looks like it's fake or man-made. You want it kind of raggedy looking. Okay, YouTube, so our scalps are all trimmed up. All the edges are uneven. We got some nice little rough material on the underside. Here's a little witch scalp. Turned out pretty good. So the next step I want to do, again, you can skip this step if you want to, go right to blood, it's up to you. But I want to paint the underside of the scalps black, and again, we're just going to use latex paint for it because this stuff does move. If you use acrylic paint, it will just crack and come off. So we're going to use some Stilpy Studios, pitch black. And again, we don't have to be perfect. We can be sloppy with it. The sloppier the better. We're going to use our same chip brush that we've been using since the beginning of this project. And we're just going to brush on. You can do it randomly, you can do big spots, you can do more towards the forehead. And we're going to wait till this stuff dries black. This way when we put our blood on, it'll be darker on the underside where all the sinew and you know, brain matter and anything else that was in there on the underside of the scalp is a lot darker than the top side of the scalp when we go on to blood and bloody up all the scalps and stuff. Okay, YouTube, so our scalps are nice and black now. Our gray has cured down to a black color. That's pretty great. Let's talk about mounting these things. So you guys ever see like Legends of the Fall where Brad Pitt comes riding back into camp and he's got a string of Nazi skulls across his chest? Cobwebs, you can't say Nazi on the YouTubes! Yeah, so it's dry. Okay, so have you guys ever seen Legends of the Fall where Brad Pitt comes riding back into camp and he's got that belt of German soldier scalps across his chest? That's the kind of look I like. So there's a couple different ways we can mount these guys. We can go ahead and use the belt look by Brad Pitt. You can just stretch it across your chest. You can, you know, cut holes in to slit your little scalps on a belt or so, or on a waist, or across your chest like a bandolier or something. Whatever. Okay. You can also put it on a stick. Another great way to mount anything. Everything looks better on a stick. I love sticks. That's probably my personal favorite, so you can go the stick route. You can also use barbed wire, which is actually pretty cool. You could lay this across 2 posts and string all your scalps on this or whatnot. That'd be pretty awesome too. But I think for this particular one, we're gonna go kind of old school. I think we're gonna just use the torch and we're gonna burn some holes for these guys, just enough to slip some dollar store rope through. So if you guys also notice in the movie, Brad Pitt was sitting in his tent with the scalps hanging from a pole, all bloody and all catatonic, I kind of like that look. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mount ours sort of like with the dollar store rope. I think that's gonna be the best way. So we got a couple of sections of the dollar store rope. It's like $1.25. I think we're going to cut off about maybe like 1 foot sections or so. That'll be fine. And then we're going to split the rope. These come in like 4 different individual twines. So just like my dead mother Edie Bluncher says, separate your rope. So now we'll use these as sort of our hanging things. Although you could easily take a scalp and you can nail it to the wall, or you know, there's a bunch of different ways you could display them. But I think I'm going to hang ours like on a belt or something like that. So let's get set up, we'll get the torch going, and I'll show you guys how to blow some holes for these things real easy, so you get a nice clean hole. Okay, YouTube, so it's 105 degrees outside, and I'm running a damn torch. I must be out of my damn mind. So I'm going to take an old awl I had. You can use a little Phillips head screwdriver or something like that. We're going to heat this tip up. We're going to burn right through. We're going to make 2 little slots, and it's going to burn right through and kind of blacken the little holes. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and set our torch down. Pick up our little dirty, stank, nasty, toothless witch. And we'll just go right around here. So we'll kind of stretch up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Let our torch warm our tip up. We can do this right through the paint. It's not going to hurt anything. Just enough room for us to slip our dollar store rope through there. And get on this side. Just be careful. You got to use gloves. Use gloves. I'm going to do that to all these scalps. I think we're also okay to go ahead and take our torch, and we're just going to crust the edge of these little scalp, just to make it sort of blackened and crusty, like the skin's starting to dry and get necrotic. Gives that little extra taste of realism, I think. Just don't set your head on fire. So, not too bad. Alright guys, so we got our 2 mounting holes in which we are going to thread through our dollar store rope. Push through there, pull them through. And again, you could use barbed wire, you could use a belt, make your holes big enough to slide a belt through, or however you want to mount them. Or if you don't want to put any holes in it, like I said, you want to nail it to a tree, you can do that too. Okay, YouTube, so we've got all our scalps mounted with our dollar store rope. Right before we go to blood, we can do any of our last little looks. You could always take some alcohol ink, put it in an airbrush, and airbrush the whole rim of the scalp so it looks like it's necrotic and dying. You don't even have to use red blood. As long as your blood is flexible, because this is latex, we got to play nice. This is Still Beast Rue blood. It's flexible just like perma blood. I've got the green as well, so say maybe you're doing a witch and you want her to have green blood. Hey, we can pound this green blood right over there and it's black light. And you don't even have to use specific colors of blood. Like I said, you can use a dark green on the underside. It's fantasy, so you can make whatever you want. You could put permagrind black. Maybe you're doing an orc scalp and you want to do black blood on them, so you could do black blood on them. Sky's the limit. The only thing I really want to change now is the hair. It looks a little bit too clean. So I'm going to show you guys my favorite way of fixing hair before we go to blood. Okay, YouTube, so what I find works best is you find yourself a nice, dirty, filthy part of your garage floor and just smear the hell out of that thing. Just drag the hair. Of course, you could always use a blowtorch or a heat gun to do the hair, but it's going to shrink. But this is going to put a lot of nice stank on it before we go to blood. Okay, YouTubes, so I got me a little separate cup of blood, our Rue blood. We're going to work out of a cup, and we're using the same chip brush that we started this whole project with, so we only used one for all these scalps, and the other one that's missing. So basically, we're just going to dip in. This is kind of personal preference, guys. You guys can do as much as you want, as little as you want. You can go crazy, but you'll see how the blood will dry on the underside of the scalp darker now that we have it based out in black. And you can put some on your rope if you want, don't matter. You can go light, you can make it look like it's more dried out and do less. And we'll just dab it around. Again, blood, personal choice. You can make it bloody, you can make it dried out like a husk. And then we gotta do our top side. Let's go with our blondie here. So blondie's probably got some in the front. Let's just do this by hand. Get our hands nice and bloody. Yeah. Ooh, I'm liking that. Boy, that blood looks good on that blonde, don't it? It's all nasty and gnarled. Alright. I think we'll call her done. Let her dry. And that's our scalp. We'll do the little brown one. Okay. Put a little more on his hairline. Just dab it around. You can just put it on your gloves. It's so grody. It's so nasty. It slides around so disgusting. So we're going to heat gun over the hair to frizz it up a little bit. And look at that. We can put some more in there or whatnot. Take some off the other scalp. And finger painted it. So look how great that looks, guys. Just from some leftover latex, old wig hair, and some dollar store rope. Alright guys, I'm going to bust all these scalps out. And when they're done, we're going to take a look at all of them. I'll show you guys what it looks like finished product. Okay. Okay, YouTubes, our scalps are done, man. They turned out great. Boy, do they look nice and glossy and disgusting. Oh, they're sick looking. So I was kind of inspired by this DIY of a book called Empire of the Summer Moon. It was a book about the Comanche raiders of like the late 1800s. They would like grab people and they were raiding a fort or whatever, and they would grab people and scalp them and then cut their arms and legs off and throw them in the fire to see if they bled to death or they burned up to death first. So that's kind of where I was inspired from this. I think they came out great, man. All we use is a basket of old latex. We got some wigs and some some blood. It don't take much to put these guys together. I mean, they're pretty crusty looking. And of course, we had to make us a clown, another variant you can easily make. Of course, clowns, I think, deserve a special place in hell, so got us a little clown here. Again, he's all bloodied up, and we just use a ping pong ball for the nose. So now I think this DIY is gonna be great. It's cheap, it's fun. I think a lot of people can make this. If you guys are making scalps, I want to see your versions, man. You can make a witch, you can make an orc, you can make monsters, you can make anything out of them. I want to see your scalps on the Cobwebs and Candlesticks Facebook page, the group page. You can share all your projects and show everybody what you're building, and it's linked below if you want to go there and put your projects up for the summertime. As always, guys, I'm only 1/3 of the trio of terror. Check out my brothers Dave over at the Weird Kids Show and Vic at Monster Misfits. Guys, we're going to be doing projects coming up here all through the summertime. We basically do Halloween all year round, so we're always up to something creepy. But yeah, if you guys are doing these, man, I want to see them, man. Post them on, like I said, the Cobwebs and Candlesticks group on Facebook. Let me see your scalps, man. They turned out freaking great. Nice and grimy. All right, guys, so I see you again. Keep it evil. On a stick. Oh no, baby, when I said stink, nasty, toothless old hag swamp witch, I didn't mean you. You got like 4 teeth. I hate Nazis. I kung fu Nazis all goddamn day. Okay, YouTubes, that's a wrap.